Welcome to Interview with a Lockpicker, brought to you by Broke Picks. Prepare to enter the shadows.
It's because we're almost like, because we have, it's not just locks and lock picking that we have in common. It's everything that brought us to locks and
Yeah.
lock picking that we have in common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why first order friendships are so strong, because it's not just the topic that you're friends about. It's everything that brought you to that topic.
Yeah.
And this is such a deep topic. There's a lot of things, man. It's a lot. There's a lot of paths.
Yeah.
There's a lot of roads to lock picking and lock sport and entry and security and all. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, which brings me to yet another point that I don't think people think about, or if they do, they take it for granted. Look, man, I don't know the last time any of you guys were in a locksmith, but we're the subject matter experts now.
Yeah.
Locksmiths aren't the subject matter experts on locks and security anymore.
No,
It's us.
every time
It may not be you, it may not be me, but it is the community we're a part of.
Yeah.
Like, we should probably start acting like it.
Yeah. And the funny
You
thing
know,
is,
I mean,
I spent my entire life as just a piece of shit, and criminal. I've done and been a part of things that'll haunt me for the rest of my life, but it never crossed my mind to pick a lock and steal something.
that's because it's never the fastest way in.
No.
Look, man, look, we're not going to hold any myths about Rule 2. Look, man, everybody came into this for a reason, and that's to open locks. There's really only two reasons to open locks.
Yeah.
Without a key.
Yeah.
Because you're just interested in it, or because there's something behind that lock you want supposed to have it.
Yeah.
So to sit here and say that we're all just into it because we like puzzles is a fucking lie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just is.
Yeah.
I told you my story. It was a Rule 2 violation. I had to get into my own box.
No.
It brought me into the greater lock sport. I understand the reasonings behind, the Rule 2. I get it. It makes perfect sense. I didn't explain it. I just had an interaction on the Reddit sub today where someone who had just picked their first lock was so excited they were like, so can I go pick my back door? And I'm like, look, dude, I'm going to put together a little short list of videos for you to watch because I get you're excited, but I want you to go to the main page and read the rules and then come back and you tell me why you can't pick your back door lock. And by the time you get back, I'll have a list and we'll have some stuff for you to watch and, to put this excited energy towards. He totally got it.
Yeah.
He totally got it. But it's real. And look, back to whatever your path into this was, whatever you get out of it, whatever you do to make it fun, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I think that's okay. Obviously, I'm not endorsing criminality. I'm a huge absolutist when it comes to rights. So, like, obviously, I can't condone taking someone else's shit because that goes against one of my primary beliefs.
Yeah.
Leave people alone, don't fuck with their shit. Mind your own business. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some people throw it around as something to make them feel important, and that's just because they don't feel important for themselves for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
And that says way more about them than it does about the person they're talking to.
Yep. Yeah, it never was that for me. It never, I don't know. It was, I remember when I remember, like you were saying earlier, it was probably about 87, 89, and I was obsessed with Magnum PI.
Dude, great show. Those fucking dogs, dude. Oh my God.
I
wanted the government for so long after that.
Yeah, I loved that show. And I remember he had to go into his break into his old captain's office. And I have a brain injury, and this is still stuck through the brain injury. I remember it. I remember his little black case, and he pulled it out, and it just, the glint of it is pick on it, and he's picking into the door, and then he went and picked the filing cabinet, and I was like, oh my God. You know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that was it, man. I begged my mom. I begged and begged and begged, and finally I was getting Soldier of Fortune magazines. And
Yep. All the Southord ads in the back of that. Yeah. At least back when we were finding that shit, it wasn't cheap stuff. You know what I mean? At least we weren't coming across Goso ads and fucking Huck ads and shit like that. It was all Southord back then, dude.
Yeah, Southord.
I was the same way. I thought, yep.
Rytan.
And it came with the book by Eddie the Wire.
Yep.
All of the sets came with the book by Eddie the Wire. Yep.
Greatest book to there ever was written on it that I can think of.
Is it really?
To get you started, yeah. It just is from point to point to point.
Yeah.
There isn't.
I don't know that I ever read it. I think by the time I got my Southord set, I'd already seen the Deviant Olem videos, so I thought I already knew what I was doing, so I just didn't ever read the book. I think I might have given the book to someone with one of those Southord sets that I got.
Yeah.
Because I was real big about trying to get other people, because I saw the value early on. I've always seen the value in doing things like that with people.
Yeah.
You know? I mentioned earlier that one of the things that's made the biggest impression, or made the most improvement recently, was hiding my keys. Huge. The only thing that's really had a bigger impact is sitting down with other people and picking locks.
Yeah.
Even if it's just on video, even if it's just on live video.
Yeah, you just
sitting down with other people. But I found a guy here locally, back when I was still in the toxic Facebook pages. I found a guy that was selling locks on Facebook Marketplace, because I'd already quit my government job and money was already tight, and I was bound and determined to, I got to keep moving forward in this. So I was looking for locks. Found him, realized really quickly just through our interaction that he was a fellow lock sporter just by the way he was talking. And I said, okay, well, look, here's the deal. Here's how much I want to spend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for at least like green or blue level locks. What do you got? And he's like, well, come on over and just take a look. Bring your lock picks with you.
Yeah.
I was like, bring my lock picks. What do you mean? He's like, yeah, we'll sit down, we'll pick some locks, we'll talk, and we'll pick some locks out for you. It's like, all right, whatever, man. That sounds kind of weird, but okay, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
So I show up, and I honestly think that it must have been like what it must have been like for the first person to come and visit Bill's lab.
Yeah.
Because when I pulled into the driveway, his garage was open, and I could see two key machines from my car sitting on his workbench, and a whole wall of blanks. And it was a commercial display, so I knew he had bought out somebody's.
Yeah.
At least the key portion of their small business. And then I get out of the car and I grab my lock picks, and I walk up to, and she's got this big round outdoor table with a giant umbrella. And this glass table, is covered in locks. Covered in locks. And a 4x4 that he had drilled holes in and filled with picks. He had a really decent collection of Peterson, but he had just recently started investing in multi-pick. It was the first time I held a multi-pick in my hand.
Yeah.
Was sitting and hanging out with this guy. And I immediately knew I was in the right place. I sat down, and that first night, we just sat there and picked locks for 3 hours.
Yep.
And I opened, over a summer, this was about 3-4 years ago, over a summer, I opened my first lotto, my first 7-pin. I got a bunch of right-handed firsts, all sitting there hanging out with somebody who was much better than me and just had an endless supply of locks to just throw out. Every time I'd show up, there's a different pile of locks on the table.
Yeah.
He worked for a window and door company.
Yeah.
So he was constantly out in the field pulling locks out of windows and doors, commercial, residential. So he just had access to buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of fucking locks.
Yeah.
And he'd been into it for, much like you, since the early 80s and just never stopped. Unlike me, who walked away and never really fully dived in, he just stayed in it and just never stopped and built a collection of enormous magnitude. I've still got so this whole pile right here is all my borrowed locks from him, to include this dope ass 7-pin bank bag.
Oh, I want to pick
This thing's cool.
bag.
Yeah.
I'm
This
looking at
key's cool as hell.
Oh, nice.
Dope ass 7-pin bank bag. That's like picking a 7-pin with nothing, a 7-pin padlock with nothing but security pins. Because like as soon as you touch that gatekeeper up front, it spools the rest of the way out, all the way to the back.
Oh man.
And it's so much fun, dude. That's such a fun pick.
My favorite pin out of all is a spool pin. I love those.
Yes.
I love my favorite comfort lock is a 6835
Nice.
lock,
Good choice.
and I like those better than anything. That's my go-to, and
Right. I'm not there yet. My comfort locks are still, my Brinks brass padlocks are my comfort set, because I can go through those inside of 10 minutes with both hands. That's my comfort set. If I don't pick it, if it's a shitty day, I'll struggle to get through those. I'll just put them down and I'll walk away and I'll go do something else.
Yeah,
if I get through those and I feel really comfortable, then that's when I know I can move forward, and I'm not damaging tools. I'm not damaging pins. I'm not up locks when I can't feel anything anyway. Because some days you just don't have the feel, man. It's like anything else. You're not that good at everything you do every day. As soon as you accept that, the happier you'll be and the less frustrated you'll be doing this. Because some days you just can't open a fucking lock.
Yep.
You just can't.
And that's
and there's
something
nothing
everybody's got to.
Fighting it's not going to change. Fighting it's not going to change. You know what? Take comfort in the fact that you've probably plateaued on some skill and you're just not aware of it. And your brain just needs time to compile that information. And when you come back 2 days later, go back to exactly where you left off, that same lock, I bet you open it faster than you could before.
Yep. And then you try something a little bit harder and you're right there and you get.
And all of a sudden.
Yep. You go through those, you plateau and you get stuck. And then all of a sudden something clicks and you just boom, 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 6 steps ahead.
Yep.
And then you plateau. And I think that's where a lot of, like you were saying earlier, people walk away because they get stuck either at that blue wall where you start getting into money on serious lock.
And it's hard. The difference between a green lock and a blue lock is it's hard. They're hard locks, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say they're easy.
Yep.
But you're right. Keep going.
And
keep going.
A lot of people just put it down because I remember probably the longest I was stuck on a lock is I took a couple years off. I fucking went face first into, I went off the deep end, lost my house.
Life happens, dude. Yeah. Life has happened to me. I've lost houses. I've lost my wife, my kid, everything, dude.
Yep.
I get it, bro.
Happened to me, and I get
it.
I took like 2-3 years off. I moved to Alaska and Hawaii, and I was homeless, and I was homeless in Flint, Michigan, the worst area you could ever imagine. I seen stuff out there. And so I come back, and I could not pick an American 1100. I couldn't pick a 6835. I finally got through the 6835. I could not pick an 1100. I'm like, holy shit. This was kid stuff to me when I stopped. And it took me like, finally, I was embarrassed. I asked Dig from Germany. I was like, I couldn't get that. and I sent it off to Keybeard. I was like, what am I can't pick this lock, you know? And he got on there and he goes, he takes it right out of the package, goes, "Dit, dit, dit, dit." And I was like, it's because I'm thinking about it too much. And I went,
Yep.
"Dit, dit, dit, dit." And then I got stuck for the longest time back on Medicos, and Medicos are like my go-to. I love picking those, you know? Those are
I've never picked Mexico. That's my next hurdle after dimples. Once I start feeling like I'm kind of got my footing with a dimple lock, I really want to check out Medico.
love them. I
I
love
really
them. Medicos and M Hearts. And I finally we were all on, I think it was Lady Locks live, and I was like, Dig, why can't I pick this thing? These were the funnest locks for me. I can't get nothing, you know, and we just, like you were saying earlier, we sat down together and he goes, I said, this is how I do it. I come back and I drag and I pull either to the left or the right till I get that feeling. And he goes, well, why don't you try pushing? And I went pushing, boom, 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 and I opened it, and then I went boom, and it was like months, and I didn't even want to tell anybody. I was like, oh my God, you know? And because this isn't like riding a bike. You take a few months off, man, you got to start over almost.
I was going to touch on that actually. I put it somewhere between riding a bike and shooting a gun.
Yeah.
It's not like shooting a gun where you literally have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But you do lose a lot. You
Yeah.
do lose a bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, every time I've walked away, I've had that same kicking myself in the ass for 3 to 4 months to get back to where I was. And it's, look,
Do you
man,
think it's more of a mental or
it is.
it is?
And the clue is in that you had the same experience I was, and that you found success once you took that conversation out of your own head and put it out into the real world and started getting other people's input. Because you're going to talk like an asshole to yourself.
Yeah.
Dude. And the thing I have to keep reminding myself is that my own voice is telling me something.
Yeah.
Right. So if I sit here and for instance, if I sit here and say, God damn it, dude, you just opened this like 2 weeks ago. What's fucking wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I don't answer back, fuck you, I'm doing it my way. My brain thinks someone else just said that to me, and I must believe it because I didn't argue with it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Like, your brain doesn't get that. First, you got to realize there's two different things up here, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking to yourself. You're not talking to yourself. That's both halves of your fucking brain talking to each other, dude. They're having a real conversation. You're just not a part of it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. Oh,
That
it
shit
absolutely is.
is real. Hey, don't take my word for it. Fucking Google it. I'll wait.
Yeah.
The very earliest experiments with separating the two brain halves
Yeah.
to try and help someone deal with a brain injury resulted in that man going crazy.
Yep.
Because he said there are two people having a conversation in my head. That man went nuts and killed himself.
Yep.
So take my word for it. Google it.
Oh, I've already
Again,
read
none of this is
well
my
into
shit.
it.
I learned all
Okay.
this from someone else. It's
'Cause
crazy. It's crazy.
people
But
put
what I
you
think
on.
is like, say again?
I said, people, when you say you, I always have 20 conversations going on in my head at once.
Yep.
While we're talking, I'm thinking about, black holes and, the wave function and shit like
The
that.
origin of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm arguing with myself up here and then having this conversation, but that calms me enough that I can concentrate on our conversation, as weird as it sounds. And I tried to explain that
Yep.
one time, and they tried to tell me I was schizophrenic. I'm like, I'm not schizophrenic. I just,
Schizophrenia.
yeah. And
Yeah. So you're touching on like, all right, so I used to do all the drugs I ever did were all for the same reason. I was trying to calm my mind down so that I could concentrate on one thing at a fucking time,
Yeah.
dude. Not ADHD, dude. Not attention. Like, I fucking pick locks. Obviously, I can concentrate on something.
Yeah.
Attention isn't the issue, dude.
Yeah.
We're curious.
Yeah.
We're really, really curious. We like to know things about lots of things, dude, and this is something that not a lot of people know about. So that's even cooler. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But the fact
Exactly.
that the drugs were all just to slow my brain down so that I could
I'm the
carry
same
on
way.
a conversation with a normal person and function in society. That's still the reason I smoke pot to this day. It's
Yeah.
why I don't drink, because drinking slows it down too much.
Yep. I don't drink.
And
It's
just too harmful to
a
my
drug
life in other
problem.
ways. So.
Yep. And that's exactly what I did it for, because I couldn't. It was too much. There was just so much going on, and
It's distracting. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I
it's so
totally
crazy.
understand.
It's so crazy.
Back to, I think a lot of us come to this for a lot of the same reasons,
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot more in common, I think, than people realize.
Yep.
I think the more complicated the thing you're doing, the more brain power it takes to do the thing you're trying to do. I think the more aligned the people that are attracted to that thing are going to be. So, like, you look
Yep.
at the tech industry, they're all the same fucking dork. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's super high level shit, right?
Yeah.
And then you get down to something like lockpicking. It's kind of mid level shit. It's complicated. I'm sorry, it's complex. It's not complicated. The universe is complicated. The human mind is the most complicated thing in the known universe. Lockpicking is complex. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonably high level activity.
You
Like,
know the
you
thing?
can't be dumb. You can't be dumb and do it. You won't get much beyond 4-pin locks because you eventually have to figure out binding order, and that takes logic and reason.
Yep.
If you can't think logically and reason your way through a problem, you'll never understand, let alone figure out binding order.
Then my
So,
question with that is, I ask a lot of people this. Now, I said earlier, I close my eyes. When you close your eyes, when you're picking a lock, can you picture the lock
yep,
and the pin and cut it in half and flip it around? And
yep.
I try to explain that
So,
to some other people, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "No, you just, you see it. You look inside, you pull the front off, and in your mind."
I'll take it. I'll take it a step further. I'll take it a step further. Before I even walk into this room, I can be sitting on my bed watching a video on YouTube on my phone and just decide to go pick a lock and visualize sitting down at my desk, getting the lock out of my drawer, putting it in a vise, choosing the pick, choosing the tensioner. And not only can I envision myself picking the lock, but just exactly like you said, I can envision that inside view of the lock being picked.
Yeah.
I can see the pin lifting and hitting the shear lines,
Yeah.
you know? So that's the one power of cutaways. But if you see it once, that's all you need.
Yeah.
I think cutaways have a really bad reputation. Clear locks have a really bad reputation. It's really well earned because, back to my professor turning off our video screen when we're mixing audio.
Yeah.
Stop using your fucking eyes.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to stop using your eyes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll never develop the field. If you continue to look at the key, like I'm learning all over again, like I probably already knew, if you continue to watch the pins rise to the shear line, you're never going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You've never had to.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You got to. So I guess the point I was trying to make there, cutaways are cool and cutaways are blingy and they're neat, but I don't think you need a cutaway to learn to pick a lock.
No.
Because I think as soon as you see it once in a video, that's all you need to see,
Yeah.
because you've seen it now. You understand the mechanics. Now go feel what it feels like.
Yep. And that's what
There's so much more important.
people have tried to get me to make more videos on safe cracking, and that's just a skill which I'm going to have a really amazing safe cracker on here later on in the week. I'm going to be
Awesome.
filming with him, and he does.
I'll be looking forward to that one. That's another one of my future projects, is to look into that.
And
That fascinates me.
yeah, it's probably my favorite. And
Is it really?
yeah,
I can see that. I can
but
see that.
I don't have the. It's such to me. It's such a feel, and how I taught myself through books and things like that, that I developed my own
Right.
feel for it, that I can't
That's
explain
awesome.
it to somebody else, where
Sure.
there are, steps you can take to get to where I get to, but I get to it from a different way because there wasn't this um community, there wasn't this. I did it a different way, and I can't explain it.
Right. Right. And there's something else going on there too, I think. And it just occurred to me as you were speaking. You're so right. And I think a big part of that is, look, especially because you figured it out so much on your own by yourself, you're doing so much automatically without even thinking about it.
Yeah,
And those are
exactly.
the little subtle things that we do. Like we, you go back and watch all of the lockpicking videos, and they talk about tension. We all know thing, but what nobody ever talks about, they talk about moderate tension, light tension, heavy, but nobody ever talks about the fact that if you watch someone who's really picking a lock, their finger never stops moving.
Yeah.
The tension's not consistent.
No.
It is constantly changing.
Yeah.
You are constantly tweaking tension as you're picking the lock, and nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like, back to the safe cracking thing. You've internalized so many habits you just don't even realize you're doing them. So trying to explain to someone else is like mind-boggling. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because, like, I just don't understand why you don't get it. It's because they're not getting the extra 3 or 4 steps that you just do automatically without even thinking about it.
Yeah. And like
You know?
when I came in to this community, because I was really late to the fucking party.
Mm-hmm.
I
Me
was
too.
hanging out with UK lockpickers because I thought that was the only place that had lockpicking. Because I wasn't.
Look, the party, what? Yeah, it
Um,
started, what, 1748?
yeah.
Isn't that guy who first picked the lock's fucking birth year?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's why I picked 1748 for the handle on the end of my YouTube. To get no key, I had to have a number, so 748 was picked.
Yeah. That's
That's the
awesome.
only reason it's that.
But like I
But
went back
anyway, yeah.
through, and when I got into the LPU to go through the belt system, they kept talking about the jiggle test, and I was embarrassed. I was like, "What the fuck are they talking
What's
about?
the jiggle
Jiggle
test?
test?" I don't
What
know.
does that even mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I finally pulled somebody aside in one of the videos. I'm like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" And they're like, you tap the pin and see if it's loose." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a
Well, we
word
do that
for it."
every time we pick a lock.
Yeah,
We just never called it that.
yeah. And I was like, "What the?"
Yeah.
You know.
Or
So
how about this one? When you hit a dead end in a lock, and finally figure out it's probably because you've overset a pin. So you go start probing all the pins are set and set well, and you start kind of pushing up on it, trying to kind of just kind of trying to toy with that tension to drop that overset pin.
yeah,
Nobody ever talks about that. I've never heard anybody give a name to that technique, but it's something we all fucking do.
yeah,
And it's something we all do so much that we know that it's not going to drop till you try to lift the pin next to the one that's overset. And
yeah.
as soon as you get next to it and do that, click, oh, there it is. Bam, now
From
it's
the
open.
different
We
sound it
all do
makes
this.
to one that
Oh,
completely drops to one that just,
yep.
it's a
Just
different
hit the
sound.
shear.
Yeah,
Exactly. The difference in sound, the difference in feel between a serrated pin and the shear line.
yeah,
I had to fill a 5200 with serrated pins and just fuck with it and fuck with it and fuck with it for a weekend until I finally caught that subtle little difference.
yeah.
The shear line is just a little bit duller,
I
just
think,
a little bit duller. You know what I mean? It's click, 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 clunk,
yep,
and it's so subtle.
yep,
But as soon as you hear it, you can't unhear it.
yep, yep. That's
You
so
know?
true. I think that's the biggest first real big hurdle you got to go through in this is um serrated pins. That was a real struggle.
Oh, I got a whole story there, dude. You know, and it ties back to another thing that I think a lot of people struggle with in lockpicking. So one of the first more advanced locks I picked was the 5200 because we had a shit ton of 5200 US on military posts on all of our Army boxes. They were all master bump set versions, so you know I know how unimpressive this story really is. But that was one of the next locks I learned to pick was those. It's not that big a deal now that I know this, but it's just 4 pins and an anti-bump.
Yeah.
In a really wide open fucking keyway.
Yep.
You know? But in my mind, again, in my naive early lock picking mind, now I can pick American locks. So I started buying American locks. I couldn't open a single fucking one of them.
Yep.
You know? And then I finally figured out what it was, and I finally figured out how to pick security pins, and I figured out how to pick spools. And then I thought again, okay, I know how to pick American locks. So I went and bought a set of 4 American 1100s. And now, you know, it's going to be my comfort set now, my practice set. And I'm going to develop this feel and I'm going to be the American guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I quickly learned that I don't know shit about fucking serrated pins.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, dude, if you can't pick serrated pins, you can't pick American locks. You might be able to pick your American lock,
Yeah.
but you can't pick American lock. Because if you don't know serrateds, you don't know Americans, period.
Yep.
So I filled a
And there's something
5200
to
up
say
with
to
them.
that for that, because a lot of people, sometimes you just get a fucking tough lock. It's got a tough
And
bidding.
sometimes you just get an easy lock.
Yeah. I
And
got one
sometimes
of
you
those
just get an easy lock.
1100s that I can just go, oh, and it's open. I can open it in probably under 2 seconds. And then I got other ones I struggle for, 10 minutes with.
Facts.
And then,
Back to another point that we were talking about earlier, you know, when you see people doing these challenges and opening, wow, he's so much better than me, dude. Every single one of the challenges that I'm using, the 1100, I handpicked from 14 examples.
yes. Yes.
I have 14 1100s, and I picked the one I could open the easiest.
Yes. Yep.
Because this is a fucking video, folks.
Yep.
You know? You don't want to watch me struggle with a lock for 30 fucking minutes.
Yep.
You want to watch an open.
Yep.
So I'm going to try and give you that fucking open,
Yep.
dude, with both hands, because it's the dual-handed picking challenge.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
So, you know, I thought you were going to touch on another thing, which is that, you know, people that are, and there's nothing wrong with this. So don't take me saying this to think that I'm disparaging anyone, but there are people who just want to get through the belts. You know, they want to just earn the belts.
Yep.
And the problem with that is you now internalize the thought process that all of these lower belts, I can pick these locks. That may not be the case, dude. You know?
It's not.
Just like when that dude that just picked his first 140 says, I can pick 140s now. No, you can't, dude.
No,
you can pick your 140 that you've been raking on for the last 6 months. You've worn all the spools until they're round. Now they just slide into position for you.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing as saying you can pick 140s.
Exactly.
You want to say you can pick 140s? Go to the fucking store, get a brand new one off the fucking shelf, open the package, and pick that on video. Then I'll believe you can pick one.
Yep. Yep.
Other than that, everything else you see on YouTube, dude, we picked the lock because it's the easiest in our collection.
Yep.
And we tried to pick it 4 or 5 times on video, and you're seeing the best take.
Yep.
The fastest
and I'll tell
open.
You what, I've been doing this for years. There's 140s I will sit there for 20 minutes with and going, what the fuck? You know?
Dude, I still have 140s in my comfort lock collection for a reason.
Yeah.
Man, I still have brand new packaged 140s for a reason, dude, because I need to be reminded that just because these rounded, spooled fucking 140s are easy for me doesn't mean I pick 140s that fucking fast, because they're fucking bare, dude.
Yep.
Ace padlocks are bare, man. And they don't seem to get easy. I don't know if they're making their seem to round off like everything else does.
Ace locks are the shit. You really wanna test your skills, you go out there and get ace locks. I've said that for years.
Yep. The only thing they make that's not harder than the thing they're cloning is the 1100.
Yeah.
The ace clones of 1100s they're not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Don't think I'm saying that, but they're not as difficult just because the spools aren't serrated. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. You get the spool set and you get that the first click and you're done with that. You don't have to make sure you got that serrated spool over there. You know what I mean? And it doesn't slow you down and give the pins another chance to drop and shit like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a fucking bear.
Yeah.
It's a hard lock. Ace makes tough locks, man. I saw a bunch of those in the challenges and I was like, good on you, dude. That's badass.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I sent some over to the UK guys in one of my packages I sent over there, and I was like, you guys want to try some hard locks? Here you go. Oh, and yeah.
Right.
These are
they want to put it in the same range as the other cheap brass padlocks, like even an Avis, because whatever. But dude, it's not the same thing, man. It's like
it's on a whole different level.
I don't know.
It's a whole different.
It's like a pit bull versus German Shepherd. Like I don't bite. Yeah, they're both dogs biting your ass, but it's a different fucking bite, dude. Pit bull's got a different bite. That Ace, that's a different spool, bro.
Yep.
And it doesn't get any softer over time. It just stays a bear.
Well, I want to ask
at least the one
little quick question, and then I gotta get off. My battery's gonna die. I think we're gonna have to
no worries,
this
dude.
again.
This has been fun.
Absolutely. What is your holy grail lock that you either want to get to pick or just have to sit there and look at? What is your favorite, your holy grail?
Right now, because I think that changes over time, because there was a time when the 1100 was my grail lock, dude. You know what I mean? Again, I've always been very realistic. I've had a few moments where I might have gotten a little bigger than my britches, but that locks have a way of humbling you, dude, real quick.
Yes, they do.
Man, a grail lock. More than okay, let me answer it this way. More than a grail lock, because that's constantly changing. I think I would eventually like to be able to impression a lock.
Yeah.
That's a grail skill for me.
Grail skill. I like that.
I've been putting it off because I understand the implications and the difficulty. And it's something you're just going to have to decide you want to do it and just put the time into it till you get it.
Yeah.
But that's probably my grail skill, I think, more than a grail lock. Because again, like I said, it's always changing. Right now, it's the one that's sitting there that I haven't opened yet.
Yeah.
So it's that DeGard green belt 4-pin all standards, because I've never picked a pin in pin. Right now it's that one.
Awesome. I like that answer. But this has been awesome. Freaking awesome.
Dude, I've had a blast doing this. I'm really glad we figured this out. This is awesome.
I apologize.
This has been a really good experience for me.
Well, like I said,
I keep saying the people are the coolest. This is easily the coolest interaction with people in Locksport. This has really been fun. Thank you. I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. Usually when you try to talk about this stuff with other people, they just want to change the subject. You haven't done that. You just want to keep going.
Yeah. I could keep going for hours.
That's fun.
And
dude, suck it up.
But yeah, we're gonna have to do it again. And get you on my
I'm totally down.
All right.
I'm totally down. And dude, maybe a way to break it up in between is just have these chit chat with a lock picker, lock pickers after dark or some shit like that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not make it so formal, ease people into it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a good test subject because I'm really flexible.
Yeah.
Well, that shit just doesn't really bother me. Yeah. And I'm over being judged, so like I'm not worried about what people are thinking.
Yeah.
But man, there's so many directions you could take this, and you've got a lot of great ideas, and I can't wait to see what you make. Dude, this is awesome, and this has been a great experience. I've had a blast. I really have. I'm not just saying that.
I appreciate it. this series, I thought about doing this for years, and then he started doing it, and I was like, yeah, you stole my idea, but I love it, you know. And
Right.
I'm going to keep true to his you know structure with the first part of our interview.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the in the shadows or after dark, this part.
Yeah, whatever you.
Because there are people like you and
Awesome.
me that will sit there. I'll listen to this shit for hours. I'd sit there.
I would.
You
I
know,
do.
yeah, I do it all the time.
You know?
And
Yeah.
so there's the initial interview, for the people who are just like, oh, this is cool. I can't listen to this for too much longer.
Right.
I want to do other things.
Right.
And then there's people like you and me will sit here and just pick and listen to them talk and go, oh yeah, So
I think you're onto something there. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think you could. I think the options are limitless, man. You could do so much with the content that you're creating. You can create an endless number of shorts just out of this little conversation we just had, and push traffic to the main interviews. You know what I mean? Like, there's 1,000 different ways you could go about this, and the fact that you're willing to be flexible, and I mean, look, you almost have to stay true to the original form because it's an interview. And it's called an interview with a lockpicker, so you have to have an interview portion. I mean, that's what it's about. But I've long thought that there's something to long form conversation.
Yep.
That there's something to asking open ended questions and then giving someone, maybe not someone who's as chatty, track as much as I do. Maybe I would do better a second time. I don't know. But there's a lot to be learned from that, dude. Not just about lockpicking, but about life, about people, about, the
About
world.
the directions people go in life and why they went that direction when maybe you both were in the same position and you went this way and they went that way, and what that that fascinates me. It really truly
Yeah, dude.
does.
Me too. Where were you in Hawaii, by the
It's
way?
in
Just out of curiosity.
Milo
Right?
Milo on the Big Island.
Okay.
It's
Right.
just about 40 minutes up the road from Kona.
Nice. Nice. Only ever been on Oahu, but I always tell people the North Shore of Oahu is my favorite. I've only been there for work, so I never got to vacation there. But man, that place is heaven on earth. I don't know if I could live there.
It's
I don't know if I could live there.
yeah.
So I was there for work, and there were like my longest trip there was 42 days. I think my shortest was 2 weeks. So I get island fever, dude. I know what that means. I don't talk about it to most people because I think you're just being fucking shitty, like talking about how, you get bored being in fucking paradise. Well, that's just real, dude.
Oh, it is.
The island's there's only so much to see.
There's only so much to see,
And
and
eventually
then you start seeing
the shit that the facade hides from you. As soon as the facade starts to peel away and you realize, oh, the homeless
live in the
live on they live on the beach.
Yep.
They're just gone by sun.
Yep.
Yeah, once that starts to fall away and you see the real thing, then yeah.
Then you see
But
the
it's
stuff.
still, the North Shore of Oahu is my favorite place on the entire planet. Swimming in 30 foot of water and being able to see the bottom like you're in a swimming pool.
Yep.
And
watch the fish, and I swam with hammerheads and makos, and I almost drowned swimming through a cenote. Is it a cenote? We snorkeled down.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Under this arch of lava flow, and
Yeah, under a lava. Yeah, God, that's so scary.
Yeah.
Man, it's so scary.
Yeah, I almost died.
I love the water.
So do I.
And that shit scares me.
I was happy to
the
drown
shit out of
under
me.
there. I was just like, I don't care. I'm under here, feed me to the fish.
Right, right.
If this is how I die, I'm happy. It's better than a bullet in the back.
Oh, dude, I have the same story. So one of the first things I had to do my first time I got to Hawaii, man, like I've been a skateboarder most of my life. I had to learn how to fucking surf. Why? You can't go to Hawaii and not learn how to surf at
Yeah.
least once. So I paid a guy and right off of Waikiki, right there on the beach in Waikiki, over a nice sandy beach, mellow, shoulder highs at the most, no?
Yeah.
But he got us out there and he got us to stand up on our first waves and all of that. I immediately went and board and kept it in my room and surfed every day after work and shit like that. And that was 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And every time I went back to the island, first before I even dropped off my luggage, I would go to the rental shop, buy a surfboard, and have it taken to my room because I was going to surf every morning if I could, but definitely every afternoon after work. Now, all of this to say, I don't call myself a surfer. Just because I can paddle out into those waves and because I can follow the locals around and turn around and paddle into a wave and stand up on my surfboard and get into shore without drowning. I don't consider myself a surfer.
Mm-mm.
It's like I've been trying to learn how to play guitar my whole life. I still don't call myself a guitar player,
Yeah.
But the ocean will remind you that you're a land animal every chance she gets.
Yeah.
Dude. and I got bounced off that sandy bottom more than once, dude, getting caught in the channel and not knowing.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not a surfer, bro.
Yeah.
But to kind of bring it back full circle, sometime in the last, I don't know, month or so of interacting with people on the internet and feeling the acceptance of the community and almost feeling a sense of belonging. At the very least, I'm finally really starting to call myself a lockpicker. I don't even have a description on my page because I don't want to put lockpicker, because back to, I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah.
I'm not a surfer. I've been trying to play guitar longer than I've even thought about trying to pick locks. But I think I've earned the right to call myself a lockpicker now.
I think you have to.
I think so.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was being invited to come be interviewed as a lockpicker, So again, full circle back to who do I need to thank? That's Lockpicker 1969, dude.
It's a great man.
Because if he hadn't reached out to me 3 years ago and said, "Hey, I do this thing," I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. I know this thing you do, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But no, here we are. Here we are 3 years later, dude.
Yep.
Right on. This has been fun. This has been
Absolutely
really
a
fun.
blast.
I never get to talk about this with anybody. That's the other part of this, dude. We all do these hands-on pages. You never ever get to just talk to somebody about it. It's so much
Out in
fun.
my Discord, we sit there all night. I've been a little absent lately. I've been dealing with some stuff, but usually I'm up all night. We're sit there all night talking. Me, GK Man, Boo Man.
I'm just getting hip to all of this. I'm getting pulled in, and I'm discovering all the lives to go out and be a part of, stuff like that. Like, man, you can get as deep into this community as you want to get, I think. The only limit is what do how involved do you want to be?
Yep.
You can find a live to dial into every single night.
Yep.
You can be on camera on someone else's, you don't even have to have your own channel, dude. You can be on camera on someone else's page,
Yep.
picking locks and having conversations, and
Yep.
it doesn't even have to be your channel. Like,
or in Discord,
you just gotta
we
do
hang
it.
out in the chat in Discord all night long, talking about locks, picks, life, getting advice from people who've been there before, and
back to dangerous men, or men in dangerous professions. Yeah. Somebody always has been through it, dude, and knows more. And they may not have the answer, but man, they might have at least a little nugget that'll get you thinking about something that takes you to the answer.
Yep. I
You know what
always
I
tell
mean?
people, I may not have the answer, but I can tell you what not to do, you know?
Yeah, right. I can tell you how I fucked it up.
Yeah.
Maybe
And,
save you some pain there.
and I always said that
Yep.
jokingly, and I realized people actually listened to what I said. And I was like,
They do.
why the fuck is anybody listening to me, you know? And
They are. They are. I find people are really thirsty for knowledge and understanding.
yeah,
But I also find people are really proud, so they don't always want to make it obvious that they're listening. Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes a lot of sense because
Yeah,
I was that person for a while. And then I was like, you know,
yeah,
I don't
didn't
give
want
a
to ask
shit.
questions. Yeah,
I don't give
yeah.
a
No, I
shit.
get it, dude. I get it. I get it. I
I
totally
want people
understand.
to know that I ain't perfect. Dude, I was a piece of shit for the vast majority of my life. I fucked everything you could possibly fuck up. And even when I was not totally in the wrong, I was still in the wrong at some point. And had to
Right.
I had to come to the,
Just by virtue of something, right?
yeah.
Right.
And part of the reason I even wanted to get on cameras to leave something to my kids so they could go back and look at maybe some of these videos and say, you know, we, even though I was the parent, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I tried my best.
Yeah.
I, I had a hammer when I should have had a screwdriver, you know?
Right. Right. Look, man, the thing to remember about that is at least you were reaching for fucking tools, man.
Yeah.
Some people just don't even reach for their tools. My daughter, I have to remind her of this constantly. She's constantly calling me, "Mr. Dad, I've done that. I'm such a horrible parent, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, dude, you know what I'm going to say. She goes, yeah, I know what you're going to say, but still, it's hard. I get it. It is hard. But, and I always say it again, bad parents don't think about being a bad parent.
Mm-mm.
They just keep doing what they're fucking doing and don't even think about it.
Yeah.
The fact that you're calling me crying, thinking you might be a bad parent, means that you're not. Dude. The fact that you're even thinking about it means that you're not. You
Struggle
can't be by
every day.
definition. Just by
Every,
definition, you know what I mean?
yeah. I,
So, I think we talk ourselves into so many of our own failures, but also so many of our own successes,
yeah.
dude. Like, it all starts with you,
Yeah.
man. Like, decide what you want to be and go be it. God damn it! I
Yeah.
decided to be a lockpicker. Now I am.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good shit.
Well,
Good shit. Great conversation.
yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off of here, and I can't wait to
I
get
hope
this
you're.
out.
I hope you're generous with the editing because there's a lot of a lot of a lot of stories that just kind of stopped. And what was I saying? Oh
Yeah.
fuck it, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
At
I think that's the best part.
least listen to it.
Yeah. I'll listen
Yeah,
to
right.
it. We might do it in 2 parts because I think every second of this was worth it. Is worth it to get.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I think it's all gold.
Yep.
I think it's all gold.
Yep. But we both
I'm
might
just
be
thinking about the
nuts.
listener.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the listener.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, it's been an
Right
absolute
on.
pleasure. Thank you for doing
I've
this.
had a blast.
And
Thank you for having me.
yep.
And thank you again, Lockpicker 1969. I know you're listening. Thank
Yep.
you. You know what you did. And I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah.
I do. I
I
really do.
truly appreciate them too.
Yeah.
And
And thank you for carrying this on, bro. Like, this is important.
I
Back to what I
feel
was saying about we're the subject matter experts if we don't keep our own fucking history. So I'm really glad you're doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. I hope I can bring it.
I appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Yep. All right. I will catch you later, and we're gonna have to do a part 2 or something. Yeah.
We'll see each other around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now that I know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'll catch you later.